Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. To my left or to your right, we've got Rad, so good afternoon.
Hi Dan, how you doing?
And very well, mate. How are you?
Good, yeah. Just good to obviously have an improved performance yesterday. At least something out of the game. It wasn't perfect, but it was compared to Leicester, it was an incredible performance because that was obviously one of the lowest games we've had in a long time, as Cooper said himself. It's also a bit frustrating. I suppose I think we could have won it, but after the last 5 matches, I think we all would have took a point definitely. And so long as we build upon it now against the Wolves team that are also struggling, I think we can look back on it with fairly good memories.
And that's the thing. We could both. We could have won it with the chances at the end. There weren't much in between. Like thing. Defensively, we looked a lot more like a team last night than we have been. Do you think?
Significantly better, yeah. I was a bit questionable with Cook playing. I mean, I love Cook, but I wasn't really. He's not really been working in the Premier League. He offers that experience. He's normally. I don't really know how to describe him in the Premier. I think in the Championship he was very good for us. He's excellent. But I do think in the Premier League he hasn't got the pace. He often gets outdone, and I feel bad for Wall. I feel he should be back into the team. And when Niakate is back, and if you're going to stick to playing two centre backs, which I think is definitely benefiting us, I think surely Cook will drop out. I don't see him staying in when Niakate is back. And it might not be instant. We saw Mangala's been back the last 2 games, and he didn't even come on yesterday, which I found a bit weird. So maybe Niakate might not be hurried back either. That probably is the case with Mangala, to be fair. But defensively, it looks a completely different team compared to Leicester and, well, Fulham as well, and Bournemouth. Terrible defensively against both of them, particularly in the second halves. Leicester was a shambles from start to finish, unfortunately for us. But I don't know what we did, but it was certainly not perfect, but it was significantly better. Really like the look of Toffolo. Much better than Loddy. Certainly needs to be playing every game, and he proved out as wrong. Not that I don't think he had that many, but I think he proved to Cooper that he should be playing. Serge Aurier, obviously, player I wasn't really too sure about when we were linked with him, but he looks really solid. And I think Nico did all right when he came on, but I'd stick with Aurier. I think he's more physically strong than Nico, and I just feel like he just looks a bit more competent. I do think Nico's good as well. Scott McKenna obviously is always going to be good. Never really going to have too much of a bad game. But yeah, I've said it to a few people now. I feel if we made a mistake, based off previous games, if we made a mistake, it will pretty much lead to a goal or a really open chance. Whereas what I noticed yesterday throughout the whole team is if there was a mistake, there was someone there to back us up. We all seemed to have a plan, and we looked like a team yesterday, pretty much from start to finish, and that's very encouraging. Saying that, particularly against Leicester, we look like a group of strangers. It's fantastic to see the progression that was always going to come eventually, but it's just a case of time, and hopefully we can use this as momentum now to try and build on it.
Definitely, 100%. It was a bit strange that he didn't bring Maguire on. He brought O'Brien on right at the end for Gibbs right, but that's one thing that did work last night was that central midfield three. Fuller in there was it just for me it did the basics right. It just didn't do no stupid with the ball where it just passed it around and to kept the ball, which did well. Yatesy being Yatesy, he put in the captain's performance last night,
Very
and Charlie, I can't pronounce his name.
Duarte.
Charte. He did all right in there as well. So them three worked last night. With Mangala coming in, can you imagine if I had Mangala, Yates, and Fuller in there?
I think we've got a brilliant set of midfielders, even the ones that have been criticised. I looked at the lineup and I liked it a lot, given the fact we changed the wing backs, full backs that I didn't expect us to do. I wanted it to happen, but I wasn't sure if Cooper would actually do it, and he did, which shows that again he's not afraid to experiment, which is what you need to do. Great to see Dennis start as well. I thought he did really well. But talking about the actual midfield, Cook and Kurate are my worries because of their previous games. Kurate was a bit invisible in the first half, I thought, but the second half he looked pretty good. Um, I find it very difficult to describe him as a player. I probably wouldn't be starting him though, regardless of how well he played. But I feel Yates. I did a tweet about it, just saying how he yet again just proves people wrong. And I kind of understood why people were having a go at him in the Prem, but I always thought it was way too harsh because I feel Yates is always going to put in more than 100% every single game, and he'll always give his absolute best. But he's also a very good player. It's not like he's just trying hard and he's not working. He does work a lot, and I feel he's quite physical yesterday. I thought he got stuck into quite a few challenges and he came out on top quite a few times, which is what you want to see. And if you can have Yates in there doing that, that's just the kind of player you want. So for me, I'd still be starting Yates. I don't care what any haters say. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that still back him though. And I've been critical of Freuler as well. I felt he was a little bit invisible. He didn't really do that much. Certainly didn't work well with Yatesy, but not yesterday. I felt like they worked all right together, and Freuler definitely had a lot more about him than the Fulham and Leicester matches. Significantly better. And it's great. Even QRT, I'm saying, did all right, and yet we've got Mangala and O'Brien right on the bench, who are arguably our two best players in midfield. So we were playing our reserve midfield technically, and it still did well, and it held out against Villa, and it's really encouraging. I'd still say our strongest midfield is probably Mangala, O'Brien, and Yates, or Freuler. Either or, I think, work. So it's fantastic to have these options, and I think with all the midfielders we recruited, playing three was always going to be quite a smart thing to do. And I don't think we were nowhere near as open as a result of doing that.
Yeah, definitely agree. And with Dennis as well last night, he had that something different about him, which him and Gibbs White worked quite well up there because when he gets the ball to Dennis on to his feet, he quickly spun out, and you know what, he could tell why we paid the money for him and why we wanted him, because he gets that something different from what the others have gave this season, and he took his goal really well.
Yeah, I think Dennis did great yesterday. I wanted him to start. Wasn't sure if he'd be up front or not, but I like how they lined up. Gibbs White and Jono on the wing, not playing up front. That doesn't work quite clearly. And Dennis up front. I wasn't sure whether he was tall enough to be a striker, but he did well. He's definitely someone that likes to have the ball at his feet and take on his man, which is great. I feel more confident with him doing it than Awani, to be honest. And don't think Surridge is really that kind of player either, but obviously I think Surridge is a great option, and I'd like to see Surridge get a start at some point soon. But yeah, I love the fact as well that Dennis, is a new player, hasn't even really been playing that much. And before we scored, he was geeing the crowd up in the A block area, and I thought that was great. How he was getting the fans riled up, and Yates as well. It's just what you're going to see, especially from the new lads, to show that they're invested. It was a really well timed header, and Gibbs White obviously doing the delivery was really good. So it's very encouraging, and I think we definitely need to stick with Dennis up front for now, at the very least.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the good thing with that. After last season, that Jimmy Garner will start set piece taker. Now start Gibbs White, who is a set piece taker, and most of our goals this season came from Gibbs White taking corners, which it's nice to have that option as well. And but yeah, it was great to see Yatesy and Dennis getting the crowd up and doing together.
Yeah, I love it when players do that, especially the new players. You know, I expect it from Yates, but Dennis, I wasn't sure if he was that kind of guy. But it's great to see him do that. I think he really took his chance, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, um, what Ryan saying about US Swords need to start next game. Hope you both well. You read. That's the thing with Swords as well. I mean, he did offer that something different when he came on. I mean, Dennis played really well. I was surprised he brought him off, to be fair. I would have kept Dennis on and actually brought Jono off and
I agree.
actually
Yeah.
went for it. And don't get me wrong, Swords did really well when he came on. And he had added that something different up top.
That was my only criticism of yesterday. Like it was better significantly than Leicester in particular, and Fulham and Bournemouth. Way better. A lot more, you know, a lot more of a team, a lot more compact. Just everything. We actually looked at the very least like we weren't going to concede at every opportunity, and I think that was the main thing that we wanted to do yesterday. Obviously, we want to win every game, but I think Cooper just made it very clear. Listen, even if we can't win today, just make sure that it's solid, it's compact. We're a lot more aware of what might happen and certain situations. And I feel like it was a rare opportunity where I wasn't too bothered about the fact that we weren't trying to win, which sounds weird, but like the very least don't lose after having a run of games like that. Just don't lose. And I feel like it was a game where we should have been trying to win it. I'm contradicting myself a bit, but my point is the fact that you know we just looked way more solid, and we just wanted to make sure that we weren't constantly conceding chances. And you know the main thing about not doing that is if you tried to go to win it, we could have easily been very exposed at the back. And I feel like the first thing we wanted to do with this game is just make sure at the very least we get a point and we build from it. And I think that's what we will and hopefully do against Wolves and in the future. And we have to be beating Wolves, in my opinion, because Wolves are definitely beatable. Away at Molineux won't be easy, even though they have had a bad start. They're a very weird team, Wolves. Arguably more than Villa, they should be doing better with the squad that they've got. Obviously, they still haven't got a manager either, so that obviously didn't work well in our favour with Bournemouth. So yeah, I look at Wolves as a very tough game because you know the last few years have been like top 12, top 10, but this season they've had a bad start. But it's still going to be tough because there's no easy games. We've proven more than anything the last few weeks against technically weaker sides, and we've struggled against all of them. So yeah, especially the main reason why we need to beat Wolves is because of the games we've got after that. You know, Liverpool, Brighton, and Arsenal is a whole new level. Obviously, Liverpool aren't doing that well. We could maybe get something from them because of their poor form, but ultimately Liverpool can quite easily beat us if we are not on our game. Brighton are looking like an incredibly strong team this season, and obviously Arsenal were surged. So yeah, it's going to be huge opportunity at the weekend against Wolves, and got to make the most of it. Really,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, they won the games now. The bar Wolves, they are quite tough ones. And I mean, going after as we said about the defensive side, I mean, that's got to give the lads the confidence now to say like, if we can produce that sort of that that togetherness and that structure, I mean, it will only bode us well to like start to defend a lot more, give us confidence.
yeah. I mean, just in terms of the defense, I think we were a lot better. I like the fact we can change the shape of it. I wouldn't be against playing three at the back at any time this season, but I feel playing two extra men in midfield, one extra man in midfield, and three overall, just made us a lot more compact. And obviously, the midfield is the engine room of a team, and it's if you can get overrun in midfield, you're going to probably concede chances. My only concern, really, from yesterday, tactically, is the fact that we do keep conceding these long shots. And obviously, normally you can kind of take long shots as a given because of how good they those goals are, but you're still got to be concerned about it if you're conceding a lot of them, because obviously teams are thinking, right, we just shoot from range against Forest, there's a good chance we'll get it in. So long as we've got good shooting ability from range, and all the teams we've faced clearly have, Billing, Polinia, Barnes, and obviously Young yesterday, they've all shot from outside the box and all great goals, but they should have been closed down more, and that's something we need to try and stop. We need to try and stop teams from shooting from range, and I think Dino probably needs to be more aware of players not like in the box or on the edge of the box from quite a way out, just potentially if they might shoot. That's something you probably need to try and work on. But other than that, tactically, I think yesterday we were very good.
Yeah,
It was way better than what we've done in the last few matches. We actually stuck to a plan and it worked. And like I said earlier, a bit disappointed that we didn't try and win it in the second half. We looked quite happy with the point, but I feel we just had to stop the rut and we did that. And like we've been saying, just build from it. That's all we can do now.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the long shots like Ryan said in the comment about it's happening too many, and we do need to finish that. And that's the only flip side to it. Like, yeah, we are looking at more defensively stronger, but then we having the long shots thing. So it's something that, like you said, we just need to work on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you can normally accept conceding long goals, but not all the time. If you're conceding it all the time, you've got to clearly address it. And so long as we do that, it's you can kind of accept it. The ones we have conceded, but can't keep letting it happen. Really.
Definitely. And another point, well, 2 points as well. I mean, when we did bring Nico on, I mean, don't get me wrong, Herrera had a really good game at right back, and he offered that defensive stability where when Nico came on, he had that attacking flair that would give that we missed on that right wing. That's not, don't get me wrong, Brennan not he had a quiet game for me, but Nico offered that something different that we needed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Nico's still a great player. I'd stick with Aurier to be honest, but I do like Nico. Younger, and he's got more potential. Obviously, he's a bit more attacking minded. But I feel what we needed yesterday was obviously to be defensively resolute, and I don't feel Nico was the right option when it came to doing that. Obviously, Aurier is a lot more defensively minded, more physical. But I feel I think it may have been to do with fitness, maybe that Oreo went off or something. But Nico's a great player, and it's we're stacked at right back now. When you look at that, and we've got Bianco as well. He's hardly even been given a game, so it's great to have these options.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed it in second half, but when McKenna and Cook had a bit of a heated discussion about
Yeah,
when the ball went through, and I mean that 2 in 2 weeks that happened, but it's good because they're showing that they're committed to the course and that they don't want it happening. If that makes sense.
well, yeah. I mean, I expect nothing less from the lads that have been here for a while. That they're going to be more committed than anyone, I suppose. But then they should be just as committed. But yeah, I did spot that how Cookie and McKenna were getting a bit animated with each other, and I think this might have been a separate thing. Kyoto was getting a bit annoyed about something as well. I think it was Ashley Young how he kept moving away, taking him. He was getting quite a lot of stick from that from where I was. But yeah, it's great to see that, commitment, passion is what you need.
Definitely, and that is a true point that Liverpool and got Trent Matip for a long while, which will be an interesting one to say the least.
I mean, I wish we were playing against Trent, to be honest, because he can't defend very well. So yeah, that's probably a bad thing that he's out.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. To be fair, but yeah, I mean, overall we're not bottom, and that we can look forward to the Wolves game and actually looking to beat them now.
Yeah, absolutely. Big opportunity with they're struggling as well. They shouldn't be. They've got a very good team, made some really good signings. I mean, I think I think they lost at the weekend again actually. So they do need to have obviously a manager in as soon as possible. They still haven't sorted that out, but that can make them a dangerous opposition. But it's a good opportunity for us. We need to make the most of it. Both teams are going to be up for it. If we'd lost to Villa, then I'll be just as negative. But I feel the performance in Villa, there was definitely something to work on from that and build on. And then, if we hadn't have lost 5 in a row before Villa, and overall it's 7 games without a win now, I'd normally take a point away at Molineux, 100%. But we need to win as soon as possible. So I would be disappointed if we didn't beat them as a result of that. But if we'd won against Villa and then drew with Wolves, normally I'd be very happy with that, definitely. But because we drew, we've been on a bad run. We need to get that win as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more. Do you want to say about your socials?
Yeah, everyone, please follow me over on Twitter, rads_23, as well as my YouTube. There's lots of Forest content. Got a vlog for the game coming out later on as well. Stay tuned for that. And please come and follow me and subscribe to Talk Forest TV as well.
Quality.
Quality.
So, yeah. Thank you. Anyway, but I'd like to say thank you for coming on.
No problem.
It's right. So I'd like to thank you for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe button. I'd like to thank you. And bye.